Greetings. This is the Grumpy Old Slan, and today we're going to be looking at some artwork by Frank Frazetta, specifically at this book, The Fantastic Art of Frank Frazetta. It was, let me see if I can, yeah, that's a bit better. It was published in 1975 and is a fairly slim book, only 96 pages, but it's filled with some gorgeous artwork, which we're going to be able to enjoy shortly. The cover is one of the classics, one of those classic Frazetta images. I know somebody should... Greetings, Intellectual Quandary. Thanks for joining us. So you can see this is the cover. Quite a classic image. You can see it in a lot of places because it's such a good image. I love the shadows. People always focus on the central figure, and she's gorgeous, but this large cat at the bottom, strange objects, and a figure on the right-hand side just make this... You can't see anything. You can't see anything. Hold on, let me try this differently. Can you see something now? This is very weird. Is this any better? You can see me. You cannot see anything else. That's odd. Let me just remove this and add it. You should now be able to see me on the left-hand side and most of the screen being the cover of the book. StreamYard tells me you should be seeing everything. Of course, it was doing that before too, so... It's just a blank black screen. That is really odd. Let me just add... Hello, John.
I think my
apparently only a blank black screen is to be seen.
Oh, yeah, I can only see a blank black screen.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can only see a blank black screen.
Okay,
I can hear myself as well.
Strange. Because
I can hear myself as well.
Yeah, hold on. I forgot to... I hate this with StreamYard. It doesn't take the default... Okay, the echo should be stopped. You're seeing it now, at least. That is weird.
I'm just trying to get my camera to function.
Yeah.
Greetings.
Hello,
I was just popping in to see
going?
if it was a YouTube issue or a StreamYard issue. But I can see it now.
I don't
so
know. StreamYard was telling me it was fine. And then one thing I didn't notice was I had to fix my sound settings so that the sound output would be in my headphones. And that seems to have fixed the screen share. How does the sound relate to the screen share? Don't ask me.
I don't know.
So yeah.
Right.
So this is the cover. This is an old book, fairly slim but very pretty. Like what I was saying is, people always talk about the main figure in this image,
but the large cat at the bottom and the figure on the right-hand side in the shadows really adds quite a bit of mystery to it, in my opinion. You know, right here.
I mean, obviously, yeah, your attention is drawn towards the central figure immediately. But I think the way the robe is falling down the steps is nicely done. I like. Well, is that a pipe bottom left? Some sort
and
of
also,
pipe?
yeah, something like that, or maybe a sensor or something. Also, what you were talking about the robe falling, but then it also leads to that blade that's in the light, and then you see that figure that's holding it. You know, and that's when the story in the image starts. So yeah,
I think it's a really, really nicely lit picture. The way he's got the shadow,
yes, it is.
The lighting done on the pillow as well, and all the cracks on the pillar.
Yeah, the texture, and also the way the relief carvings on the base of the pillar. You know, and some of the stuff is damaged. It's just,
I think that's a really good start. Really good start to the stream. Nice cover image for the book.
Yeah, it's a good cover. Yeah.
And
the stream didn't start so well. This is just the title page.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, and it gives a good idea
of what you're going to be seeing.
Yeah, of what Frazetta's art is all about, like voluptuous ladies and mysterious scenes. Yeah. We're marking them out of 10.
Yeah, and this is just the title page. Yeah, we can, and for me, that one's like 8.5. There's a couple of things about it that make it not be quite as high, but it's still very good.
I mean, yeah. I mean, as a benchmark, it's an 8 that might creep up to a 9, depending on the quality of the others, because obviously ratings should be relative to everything else as well. So.
Yeah. Exactly. So, okay. So this is the title page. It does have a lovely ink sketch. Here.
It's a little bit gratuitous for my liking.
I'm less inclined to want to rate because it is a little bit, though. Lovely movement in the line, though, with the hair and the mane of the horse and stuff.
You can tell there's a wind whipping across from the left-hand side.
There's some good stuff there. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then another one that probably falls in the same category for you. And this is something a lot of people don't know because they're more familiar with his book covers. But Frazetta did a lot of comic books. He did a lot of comic book artwork. So that's an example. And this is just a short 2-page story. Actually, let me see if I can. No, I can't. Or wait, maybe I can. Hold on a sec. If I go to view, yeah, we can see the whole comic here.
I can't see
which is one of those, really, it's a 2-page story.
I can only see the.
You can't see it.
No, I can't see the comic. I can still see that.
You can't see the
introduction
comic.
page.
That's annoying. That's very odd. I don't understand why. StreamYard is telling me, if you look in the StreamYard window, I don't know, I don't know what you see.
I'm in the StreamYard window. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah. That is very odd. Yeah, because you should see like I see a 2-page spread. Yeah. I'm actually tempted to. Where is it? Just to go into YouTube to see what YouTube is showing, because this is a bit
That might be
annoying.
an idea.
Never had this kind of problem.
Yeah, I'm going to YouTube as well.
Yeah. Come on.
YouTube is showing what I see.
YouTube is. Oh, great. Yeah, damn it, StreamYard. Indeed. This is very annoying. Oh, great. Everything looks like it's... Oh, wait, did it wake up? Yeah, it looks like it just woke up. Everything looked like it froze too, so that's not helpful.
StreamYard has had bugs on me before when I've been trying to set streams up.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it's been user error on my part.
I mean, but I've done a whole bunch of these before without a problem. You must listen to me, you fools. I am the man on the inside. Yeah. Well, I've done some weird oddities. Let me actually double check the settings. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, no, everything seems okay from this place.
It's just not coming through for everybody else.
Wow, how annoying.
Ooh. Oh, there we go. It's come through now.
There we go. What the... Okay, I have no... So you see the 2-page comic book. That's the whole story, really. It's quite simple. Some horses stuck in the water. You know, the owner or stable boy or something. Yeah, they're gonna go and help it. And
well, why don't we read it out on? Why don't we read it out on stream?
Yeah, sure. Let me try to zoom in so we could see it. But yeah, Cindy is saved, and it's a 15-year-old Long Beach, California high school sophomore's love of horses led him to save one from drowning in a rain-flooded field. Hero of the rescue is Brian Carroll, who keeps his own horse in a riding stable.
Easy, Cindy, easy.
Easy, yeah. Followed by Brian was feeding his horse when...
Brian, there's a horse down the road up to his neck in water.
Yeah. Of what I mean, like the poses are dynamic as far as comic book artwork is concerned. This is really good, you know.
And the horse looks pretty.
The horse is pretty good.
It looks natural.
Yeah. That heavy rainstorm last night must have flooded the pasture. Brian finds the horse unattended and straining the chain, which is attached to a stake that is underwater.
Wow, look at that deep water.
Yeah, another really dynamic pose for the boy. The horse, you know.
It looks a little odd to me though, because the
chain looks odd because it doesn't. You'd expect the chain to not be going to the mouth.
If you look at the composition of the boy on the left-hand side as he's running down the hill, that doesn't look very natural, and that sort of conflicts a little bit with the way the background is done on the horse.
The boy is much more cartoony than the horse or the background.
Yeah.
You know, so don't be frightened. I'm coming. Yeah. Poor girl, she must have been all night in this predicament. It's a miracle she didn't drown. Your trouble's over. Now to get you to my stable and dry and brush you off. A warm blanket, grain, and hay, then you'll be okay. And I
And
will
thus-
point out,
And thus a young paladin's life path
Yeah.
was set.
yeah, but you look at the signature, 1954. So that's fairly early in his career,
Mhm.
you know. You can tell there's details here and there where things would get much better, but this is really solid overall,
Yeah.
you know. And it's nice that they include this kind of stuff because we often don't see it. And I'm just going to set the view back to, because I wanted to show the whole comic strip in one layout. But yeah, and we have another sketch here. And yeah, this one more. So on the way this book is we have plates on the right hand side, and then on the back of it they just print the title of it. So like there's the Executioner. This one's just pen and ink, probably an interior illustration, and again fairly early, 1955.
I mean, the depiction of there's certain aspects of it that don't leave a lot to the imagination, but that conflicts
Yeah.
with the fact that you do wonder exactly what the fat old man is saying. But it is
Yes.
gratuitous again. It's
Yeah.
I will admit to be, I mean,
Yeah.
even though I love running horror games, I do describe some things that are quite in your face. When it comes to fantasy art, I
Yeah.
prefer things to be a little mysterious.
Yeah.
And certainly these early images, there's not a lot of mystery about the people.
That's true. That
apart
is
from
true.
what they're thinking.
Most of the mystery is actually is not on the main subject, but it's on things like this figure here.
Yeah.
And this weird pterodactyl thing that's sitting on the throne. Is it part of the throne, or is it actually alive and just sitting there? That's the stuff that really grabs me, actually.
And what did she do to deserve being beheaded?
Exactly.
Because it's obvious she's going to be beheaded, because there is
Yeah.
a executioner there with an axe, and there's 3 skulls hanging from the chandelier in the middle.
Yeah, and it's the title of the piece, The Executioner. So, you know, also the focus is very much on him with the big black mask there.
Yeah.
Greetings, Manfred. So let's go to the
Oink,
next
oink.
one. Yeah, oink. And this is actually 9 years later, called Stone Age. And,
9 years better, in my opinion.
Yes.
I like this one a lot.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, really action-packed, really dynamic.
Yes, exactly. Lots of hinting of stuff, and just lovely ink work too on the mammoth. You really get a feel for it.
Pack of Smilodons, by the looks of things.
Yeah. You know, unlikely that large cats hunted in packs, but you know, lions do hunt in packs. I mean, they're not.
But if you remember,
packs,
if this was drawn in the 50s and 60s, we didn't really know that.
No, we didn't. And you know, while tigers and some other large cats always hunt alone, lions do hunt in groups. So it's not a totally ridiculous idea to have large, you know, Smilodons hunting in groups, and you'd probably need that many to have a shot at getting a mammoth down.
There's one of the big cats that's quite badly drawn, the one on the left-hand side flying through the air.
Yeah.
It almost looks like he's got Saturn's back legs. It's
or he's missing a leg or something.
Yeah.
This area here looks odd.
Yeah.
The front is okay, but this part, he looks smaller than the others too. So yeah.
The mammoth itself is the best part of this one.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. And this one called Caveman. I'm going to zoom it in because I feel we don't quite get enough detail. zoomed out. It might also be the scan. I
I'm watching it on YouTube as well. I can get
Yeah.
a bigger image on YouTube than I do on StreamYard. So
Yeah, that makes sense. So that's interesting because we see someone. I mean, the guy here has a metal helmet on,
mm.
you know. So clearly he might be Bronze Age, but there's these more primitive cavemen still around. And
Well,
either back, I'm going to
you
say
can tell-
these are pterodactyls because of the tail. So that
but you
we're
can tell.
mixing.
Look at the face, for example, of the ones peering out of the
Yeah.
cave. You can tell that they are ape men.
Yes, yes. And with those little pterodactyls in the background, like we're just mixing all the periods, and this is fun, and this is
Absolutely,
what
absolutely.
this is what paleo fantasy is kind of like sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what makes it fun.
I think it's really good.
This is really
this.
good.
Yeah.
I also like one detail. There are 4 clubs, and no 2 are the same.
Yeah, you're right. You are right.
It's the kind of detail, and even like the 2 faces of the cavemen that are here, they're clearly different people,
Yeah.
It's less obvious, I mean, because we see this one sideways and those more facing, and we can't quite, we don't see the face on this one, and this one it's a bit obscured, but it's like, yeah, they're different people, and that's quite nice to see. So yeah, I like that piece.
I mean, but the one guy fighting by himself is clearly a more skilled fighter than the others as well. One blow appears to have sent 2 of the cavemen to their deaths.
To their death. Yeah, exactly. I was part of the. It was very common in this old. We have ape men. They were often, they weren't very smart, but they were also slow. So that would fit in with that, because that's how they were often described in the stories.
And Manfred's saying the helmet looks a lot later than Bronze Age. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was just giving an earlier, like he would have to be Bronze Age or later, but he can't be Stone Age because you didn't have helmets like that.
It's almost metal. It's a medieval.
Yeah,
style
yeah. And there's that spike on top, which is.
It's a fantasy edition, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say that's a fantasy thing. So, yeah, that's a good image. So let's move on to the next one. And this is Ape Man, but I do know Frazetta illustrated a whole bunch of Tarzan stuff.
He obviously had to put Ape Man because of contractual things.
Probably, yeah. They didn't want to get in trouble with the Burroughs estate. And this is 65, so that's, Burroughs passed away in 50, so that would still well within the copyright. But yeah, much better, I think, overall than a lot of the earlier stuff in terms of the plants and the trees and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I prefer the previous image.
Yeah, I prefer it too. The topic. I prefer the topic on the previous image than this one. Yeah. But I do like. There's a lot of stuff I like about this image too. So.
The plants are really good.
Yeah,
all the vines,
the
trees.
Leaves. Yeah, and even those runes in the background that are hinted at, just enough. That's quite nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And here we have the first color one. This is an early book cover. It's called Wolfman. They don't say, that might or might not be the title of the book, because they would give these semi-descriptive titles to the images, but sometimes it's not the title of the book. And this actually isn't a wolfman by the sounds of it. It's a man, and he's facing off a small pack of wolves, and all he has is some rocks to either throw at them or hit them with.
But there's what looks like a pit to the volcanic core in front of him.
Unless it's water and it's reflecting, like this is being reflected here. It's hard to say.
I didn't think of that. can think of that. I like the
Because-
fact that I like the multiple moons in the sky. I think that
Yes.
adds a sense of mystery.
Yeah.
It's clearly an alien planet as a result of that.
Yeah.
The volcano doesn't look naturally shaped to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't think that's a natural.
I mean, I
cone.
think there's an oddity because the other thing it could be is just like a mesa, like this is actually a rock formation and these are clouds behind. It's not clear. I can't quite. I think that's 63, so it's still early-ish for his color work. But there's one thing Frazetta does a lot, and we see it already here, is that we see two wolves, one of which is very, fairly well done. This one is, fairly defined too. We just have a hint of eyes here, the silhouette of another one with eyes here, and then another one which is almost blends into that rock formation that he's right behind or on top of. It's hard to say.
I mean, I will say I prefer the caveman fight image and the cover art to this.
Yeah,
both by a long way. I think he's got a long way to go.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I mean, this one would probably be 5.5 or 6.
Oh, we forgot to rate some of them, so we're going to start rating them now. Are we?
Yeah. We should try. Yeah.
Hello, Nutty.
Oh, greetings, General Nut. Yeah, it could also be reflections of the wolves, like just in the water, but
it could be.
It's hard to say.
It is hard to say, yeah.
So, moving on to the next one. This one's called The Sorcerer.
Ooh, this is better.
This is better. A lot more mystery to it. Clearly, the sorcerer calling forth a demon.
Yes.
But he's got others behind him, and I'm not sure what's here, but it seems probably others too.
And all those sort of souls, look like souls in the background. And I like this. I really like this. This is nice.
This is nice. Much more evocative. He doesn't show, he hints, and that for this kind of image, that's really great.
Absolutely, Manfred. Absolutely. And are they sort of bowing down to him, or are they bowing down to the beast that he's summoning? These ones at the front.
Exactly.
Or are they clambering up to see what's happening?
Same with the souls. Are the souls like the sacrifice the sorcerer made to get this creature there, or are they escaping the netherworld while benefiting from the opening that the sorcerer made to get this demon out? It's hard, we don't know, and that's the kind of thing.
Or they're just entranced by what is going on. It's I mean,
I like this one.
I think the demon looks great. Sort of very ape-like sort of features on his face, but clearly isn't an ape because of
with all that teeth and very wide mouth and
but no, the sorcerer himself looks potent. He looks like a really, really good adversary.
Yeah, exactly. What's too bad is, again, the years are really hard to see on some of those. So I'm not sure what this feels like an earlier piece, but it's interesting to see some of the cliche, like the sorcerer's pointy hat and things like that happening. But I like this one a lot.
This one's a 9 out of 10 for me. This is my sort of thing. This is very much my sort of artwork. I like this.
I like that one a lot too. I'm gonna go for 8 for that one, but 9 is also fair in my mind. All right, let's move on to the next one. And this one is also called Wolfman, and actually features a wolfman or werewolf or whatever you want to call it. John's aardvark, indeed. That's quite a nice piece.
It feels like it's Bram Stoker inspired with the
very much.
I feel like the guy at the front is Victorian,
Yes.
It's that sort of Transylvanian castle in the background, a massive
The-
red
the-
moon.
The bats, in a way, it's filled with the cliches of
Of
horror,
course, yeah.
of the old Hammer horror movies type thing. So, yeah,
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
this is where I would like to know. This was probably a book cover. Just from the composition, you can tell there's a lot of fairly empty space to put a title here, some empty-ish space to put like the author's name or some blurb down here. Greetings, Halakar. Yeah. Manfred would have been cool back then. It's kind of campy now. Yeah, it does have a bit of element of camp, but I think it's just all the layering of everything we've seen since that adds to it.
You see, I mean, the land. I love the castle in the background. I wish he'd done a little bit more work on the landscape behind, beneath the castle.
Yes.
I like the fact there's a skeleton, there's a skull in the foreground.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder.
Yeah.
And I know, yes, as you say, it's slightly cliched,
Yeah.
but given that it was probably 1960s.
Yeah, this looks like a 60s piece. I
can't
can't
remember
even
the era. You got to remember
find
the era
his
it comes from.
signature on this one. So I will point out this weird root structure here with a few branches sticking out. This is a very common thing in Frank Frazetta's artwork. We're going to be seeing that a lot.
What's causing the highlighting on his cloak?
Yeah, that's
because it's behind the moon.
Yeah.
Where's this light coming from? It looks wrong.
Yeah, also if you compare, like, the highlight is here, but then on the wolf it seems to be coming from the other side, because he's like the fact the wolf has the reddish highlight here makes sense because of the moon.
It almost feels as though this is posed in a film studio with lights coming in from all angles.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, Halakar says this could be a cover for a late 60s Hammer horror movie VHS tape.
Yeah, very probably.
Yeah, very. And if he might have.
It's a 6 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I think 6 out of 10 is about right for this one. I think if it is inspired by movies, he might have taken some stills from the movies and just put them together into one composition.
Very possibly.
But then the lighting isn't consistent from one figure to the next.
No.
And the next one, this one's simply called Neanderthal. Quite evocative.
This one's awesome.
Yeah, I really like this one.
This one's really good.
Yeah, and this one's 66. We see, like, couple of figures, like those three are fairly well defined and detailed. This one a bit less so, mostly in silhouettes, but then there's three more
in the background.
This one here, this one here, and there's one peeking here. We can barely make it out.
For me,
I like that.
For me, with this one, that sort of indistinct background works because you've got that focus in the foreground. The reason the other one didn't work is because you had the focus on the castle as well.
Yes, I agree. And also, this one could almost be like you're in a sandstorm and they're coming out of the storm. And, like, or the fog, could be either one.
Again, I like the clubs are well done. The clubs are all different, as they would be, gnarled pieces of wood.
Yeah.
The figures are distinctly different build, different facial features.
Exactly.
This I think this is great. Really,
this is a really good one. I like that one a lot too.
Yeah. This is a 8.5 from me.
Yeah. I was gonna go with 9, but that's also fair.
Yeah.
I know this one says Manfred, Neanderthals in the mist. I see shadows of these guys in fire and ice, the subhumans and the ogre creature that served the witch. Yes, that's true. I don't know, John, if you've ever seen Fire and Ice. It's this animated feature film that Frazetta worked on. Very fantasy and... All right, so next one. This one is called Sea Monster. That's the
I like the
same year as the
simplicity of his
previous.
names.
Yeah.
There's no pretension in the names.
No, exactly. But it's also not the book title, because this is again a very obvious book cover. I kind of like the contrast between like the modern
It
diving
hasn't
gear.
updated on YouTube.
It what?
It hasn't updated on
Oh,
YouTube.
great. It's
We've
going to
got
start
that
again. How annoying. So to the audience who came in late, we seem to be having a few problems with StreamYard today, where it will take forever before it updates the image. Yes, you don't see Sea Monster because StreamYard will probably decide to take like a few minutes before it updates it.
So these three Neanderthals at the front, we're going to give them names: General Nut,
Yeah,
Manfred, and Halakar.
yeah.
Which one? Which one do you want to be, Manfred, of the three in the front?
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't be shy.
don't be shy. Pick one. Pick one to play. Is your character?
Under the charging Neanderthals. Yeah.
I mean,
this is Larry.
They've all,
Halakar says that this is Larry, his brother Daryl, and his other brother Daryl. Yeah. They live in Vermont.
now,
Manfred likes the one with the club in the air. That's a good
none
choice.
of them can be Halakar. They've all got too much hair. And General Nut is the one at the back trying to keep up, limping away. Right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, indeed.
I'm the short one. See the short one on the right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Me. Which one's you, Slan?
Oh, I don't know now.
Nah. Come on, StreamYard.
Come on, StreamYard. Do something for me. Come on.
We're
We're dying here. We're dying here. Or should I say we're drowning here? We're drowning here.
I'm just going to pour some more wine.
Yeah. I'm going to just have a sip.
I'm going with you, but I know you're leading us into trouble. Yeah.
Okay.
Cheers. I've got a cheeky rosé here. My wife works at a nursery, and she gets a lot of end-of-year presents from the parents.
Oh, yeah.
And she doesn't drink wine. And the amount of bottles of wine she gets given is ridiculous. So that tends to mean that during the summer months, I'm like, oh, I have wine. Whispering Angel, this one's called. Côte de Provence Rosé 2023. Rather pleasant. 13% alcohol. So generally, better wines are often stronger. So
yes. Well, I mean, her loss is your win, I guess. I'm going to try and just remove the screen. It's here. It is.
Monsters arrived.
Oh, yeah, it is. Finally.
It's only a half-size bottle, unfortunately.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's better than... All right. Yeah. Actually, when we fall into the ocean... So what I was going to say about this one is I like the contrast between the modern scuba gear and the old chest, the skeletons and the monster, which we tend to think of as,
That's what I was going to pick up on that I didn't like. Those are sort of inconsistencies I don't tend to go for.
Yeah. Well, I see it because the way I see it is it's not quite there. But we see this kind of thing with some Lovecraft where they're in a modern setting, but they encounter something incredibly ancient. And this would be like an upgrade to the 60s of that.
I think without the scuba diver in the front, if you'd have put a merman or a barbarian swimming with holding his nose with a spear or a harpoon in his hand, it would have looked great. I just think there's too much of a contrast, because I think the sea monster in the back looks fantastic.
Yeah.
But I don't like the contrast with the scuba gear at the front. That puts me off.
Because I like it. Like to me, it looks like the monster comes out of this chest, like because of the red.
Really?
Yeah, well, you can see the chest like here. Like
Yeah.
it just got opened, maybe.
So is it like a sea genie of some sort?
Maybe. It's hard to say. Or it was trapped there, but it seems big to fit into that box.
It does.
It's hard to say.
It's a 6 for me because I'm torn. I think there's too much conflict in the image for me to make too much sense in my little mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually not super fond of the monster. I've seen better undersea monsters, and I'll call it a 6 too. Yeah, Manfred puts it well. It's not bad, just not our favorite. I think it's a good way to put it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so moving on.
Hope it does move on.
It's called Spider-Man.
We don't see Spider-Man. We still
there.
get sea monster.
Great. I should maybe move the page ahead, a minute or so before I say, okay, moving on. In the hopes that StreamYard, it's killing us. And I don't know why it's decided to act up today, because when I was doing the other ones with Iman, the spaceship ones, we never got this problem.
No.
Yeah, flip the next page as soon as the previous one shows up. I should do that.
It's called
lag. That one was 66, the sea monster. I did manage to spot the
Would you mess with an underground chest which had got a lot of bones around it? Really?
I probably wouldn't. Yeah.
No.
Well, what's weird is there it is.
We go.
Here's the Spider-Man, which I would have called Spider Spaceman, because it's a spider and a man. Those were Manfred. Those were like weeks ago. You'd have to look into my old streams to get them.
This one's
so
weird.
It is weird.
The central image makes no sense.
Well,
is he killing a spider, or is he the spider? You can't really see all that well. That central bit is indistinct.
There's this entire thing here is very weird. Like,
is he sort of combining with the spider to become a Drider?
Yeah, maybe. General Essence, he thinks killing. Halakar suggests the creation of a Drider.
I mean, it might be killing, given all the red and that patch of green goo.
Yeah, and he seems to be, and he's holding this. I'll call it a stick. Though it's very pointy at this end. Maybe it's pointy at the other end too.
It's not straight.
Yeah. Upside down, twitching legs. Or Alucard. He's melting, polymorphing into a second spider-like creature. Maybe. It's hard to say.
It's very hard to tell. What's good about this picture is you don't know what's going on. And that is always something that attracts me to fantasy art. When the art doesn't tell me everything. My brain has to make up the other bits and pieces.
I agree with you, but I much prefer a picture where the more I look at it, the more I see stuff that makes me want to ask questions.
True. I mean, yes, the main question with this one is presented to you straight away on a plate, isn't it?
Exactly. So I thought he was pulling off a leg, not holding a stick. Yeah, that's possible. Maybe he's but it seems it has this weird highlight on it that
Is
the
that the
legs
spider's
don't.
abdomen? Is that the spider's abdomen that's sticking up? And is the spider's head beneath
Maybe
the surface of this
that might be
red,
it.
murky pool?
That could be it.
It's odd. It's odd.
Yeah. It's like he's in a shallow pool of liquid or something too, maybe. It's hard to say. I mean, it has impact. That's you got to give it that.
Yeah.
I don't like it as much as some of the other stuff we've seen, so I'm gonna call this one. And it's a bit too simple overall for me to really fall in love with it. So I'm gonna call it a 7.
And I'm going to join you on 7 and I'm quite a harsh rater, I think, and I think 7 is above average. I like it. I can understand how it doesn't. You're right. It doesn't give you any more answers the more you look at it.
Yeah, and it doesn't provide more questions either. So,
but I like the weirdness and the horror of it because you don't know what that pool is made up of. Is the pool melting him as he's killing the spider?
Yeah.
Is the pool melting? Has he driven the spider into the pool? Is it melting the
both of them?
Don't know. You don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I count 8 legs. Yes, 8 legs. If that one is the front leg, yes. So Nutty, I think you might be right.
Yeah.
If that 7 legs plus that one, I think you might be right.
Yeah. And there was a bit of a delay, but we have the wolf pack here, all in a line. And
sorry, this one's crap.
Yeah, no, I don't like that one too much either.
She's all right. The wolves look awful.
Yeah, wolves look really odd, and it's weird that they're like all in a line,
I mean,
one following the other. It's weird.
The trees are odd, but not terrible. The snow is not terrible. What's she doing? What's she got in her hand?
I don't know. Wait. Let me zoom in. Hold on. Where's the?
Is it just a gratuitous?
No, I think it's a child. Yeah, but it's a child. You can see the arm here, and an ear, an eye, the head.
It is, yes. So, yeah, you're right. Zooming in, yeah. That gives it a bit more gravitas. That has improved the image.
Yeah, it improves the image. It improves the story, but that wolf is just awful. That front wolf, and if I was to remove this one, the other ones aren't great, but they're not on this level of awful, which really reduces that image down. It's going to be a 5 for me because
it's a 3 for me. But I mean, if the wolves have been decent, that would have been a 9 because.
Yeah.
It's the wolves ruin it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Of course, StreamYard decides to delay the whole thing. Here we go. This one's called Green Death. And see, this one already, there's more happening in the background.
Absolutely.
So, more interesting. Is it one
that figure in the background? You don't notice him straight away, but...
Yeah. And, I'm not... whatever this, probably an idol in front of the brazier there, some strange god.
Brazier.
Okay, sorry.
A brazier.
You're right.
A brazier is what the woman is not wearing.
Yeah, exactly. Un brasier. There we go. I'll say it in French. It'll be safer for me. Yes, very Conan-like.
This is really good. This is Frazetta at his best, good. In my opinion.
Yeah. The only thing I feel is that I think it's only a single snake. and that head is really small considering how big that snake is.
True. I hadn't noticed that.
You know, didn't we find that reptile idol 2 Fridays ago? Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, no, but I do like it. There's a whole bunch of questions. Is she dead already or just unconscious? Is he controlling the snake or just witnessing the combat and getting ready to go get somebody, some guards to kill off the barbarian?
Or has she been bitten and is she sort of shouting, "No, up there, up there"?
Yeah, exactly.
But the more I look at it, the more the brazier and the figure in the background make this image.
Yes. That's what really brings the whole thing together, I find, in terms of a good narrative.
Hello,
And
Grim Squirrel.
Greetings, Grim Squirrel.
What's that thing above the brazier that looks like almost like a smiling face?
Well, I think that's like the idol, because it's like a reptile god or something. You could see like that would be the nose, the mouth would be here, 2 eyes, some strange alien god. I don't know if I zoomed in, but of course, StreamYard is still acting up.
The reflections on the floor look great. As you say, the snake isn't perfect. The proportions of the snake, it needed a bigger.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially because the snake seems to be going back behind the brazier.
and it seems to be a constrictor, and constrictors are thick and muscular throughout the length of their body.
Yeah, and whatever they constrict, they swallow whole, so they're gonna have a big, you know. So, but you know,
it's an 8 for me. I mean, the snake's imperfect. The rest of the image is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I think 8 is a good call for it. And now, of course, I don't know if anyone has seen it zoom in and out, because that's what I did in order to see the idol of the alien god or whatever it is.
No, I didn't see that.
No, and now I moved. I moved to the next page, and StreamYard is still acting up. Which is
the
annoying.
arm is wanky.
Yeah.
It's not perfect. Hand isn't perfect.
Yeah.
But that's not the main focus for me of the image. It's the guy in the background, the brazier, the woman on the floor.
Yeah. The snake was going to eat the girl. She is obviously dead. The barbarian tried to save her, and the big bad is in the back. Watch the coil curve round and go up to that space. Yes, it does. If you look above the barbarian's head, like you have the coil going there, and then it goes all the way to the back. So
it does.
Don't know how far back the tail of that snake goes. Yeah. Okay. Now we have the next one. This one's simply titled "The Brain," which is that big thing behind the two, the barbarian and the demon. Yes, it is cool.
This is, I like the way the brain's been done in all those myriad of colors.
Yeah.
It gives you this idea that the brain is alive and thinking and throbbing.
Yeah. And what's weird for me is the legs of that demon creature look really weird. Like, does he have hips at all? And
is he emerging from the brain?
Maybe.
Is it a perspective issue? Is he emerging from the brain?
Maybe. Because he seems to be quite close to the barbarian, because the barbarian, I assume, holds up his sword like that to parry a blow. Though why he doesn't use his shield instead, I'm not sure.
It looks like the battle's taking place in water because it
Yes.
looks like there's a reflection of the brain.
Yes.
So that's not 100%, but yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
I like the lighting. I like the way the brain
Yeah.
is glowing. I like the color use.
Yeah.
The pose. The barbarian's sword is too small.
Well, I see it as
why is he
a
holding his
Bronze
shield
Age
behind?
sword. But
Why
yeah,
is he
it's
holding-
like I would parry with my shield, not my sword.
Yeah. Why is he holding the shield behind him?
You know, if he didn't have a shield, then it would make sense for him to parry with his sword.
Yeah.
Do we really need to see the squatting barbarian's gluteal cleft? Yeah.
Well, I was about to mention the fact that the barbarian's rear cleavage is well on show, but that's just Frazetta for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
He wasn't discriminatory in terms of cleavage.
Oh no, he wasn't.
Male and female cleavage.
Yeah.
And the angle of the demon's arms are weird.
Yes. It almost well, the other thing that's weird is if I had horns like that, I would put my arms behind them to swing my sword down. I do it the other way around.
The sword looks too small to be wielded with two hands.
Yeah, it does.
It's an imperfect. I mean, it's the appealing image. It's a sort of image that make you look at it.
Yeah.
Because of the colours, and that's from the brain itself. The brain for me is better than the foreground.
Yes, I like the idea of it. I moved forward to the next. Of course, now it's sped up.
It's sped up.
But,
that brain one gets 6.5 from me.
Yeah, I think 6.5 for me too. And this one is called The Apparition. So we have a horse riding barbarian.
The horse's limbs are overly muscular.
Yes. Yeah.
The barbarian's helmet is ridiculous.
Yeah. And actually, the way the shield is for the barbarian, and I'm going to zoom in because
I hadn't even seen the shield.
Yeah, because it appears to be, of course, now StreamYard's taking its sweet time before it. Okay, here it updates. So part of what I think makes the helmet look ridiculous is the shield. It's hard to differentiate the two.
It looks like he's got a flying saucer in front of his face.
Yeah, exactly. Or right behind him. So I'm going to zoom back out.
It's very much a fantasy helmet, fantasy axe. I mean, there's no attempt to make this look realistic.
I will, however, say that if you're holding an object, like if you've ever carried like a sledgehammer in one hand, and if you want to hold it upright, you would sort of hold it like that, where the shaft is along your forearm, because that's the only way you can hold it up. The other odd thing is it's called The Apparition. And of course, now StreamYard is not zooming out. But there's that woman who's holding up that sheet, the white sheet of cloth. But there's this big giant ape head in the background, which now
saw that.
His legs beating, or is that just me? I think it might just be you.
That's his. I've just realized what I thought was his helmet is actually his shield.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Is it's so hard to distinguish the two. This is too much going on. I don't like the head in the background, but the shredded necromancer has potential. Yes, I think that's one of the odd things, is that big giant ape head.
I feel really embarrassed to not realize that that's actually his shield, and there's his fist. But where's the rest of his arm?
Yeah, that's a bit odd.
Yeah.
So there's a story I read about Frank Frazetta, where one of the first covers he did for Conan, He did quite quickly. He sent it off, and then he showed it to someone. And this basically everyone thought it was a great image of Conan. And he showed it to this one person. The person said, he's got no neck. You've got a problem here. You've got a problem there. And Frazetta did all the corrections this guy told him to. Because according to Frazetta, Roy Krenkel could do no wrong. And if Roy Krenkel told you made a mistake in your anatomy, that meant you made a mistake in your anatomy. And Frazetta,
I don't know who Roy Krenkel is, but there we go.
He's the artist who got Frazetta to do get out of comics and start doing book covers. He's the reason we have, and he's brilliant. I think I'm going to try and do a stream one day with some of his artwork, though there's not a lot of books about him, unfortunately. And Frazetta idolized the guy. And if the guy told him you made a mistake in your anatomy, and yeah, Frazetta has some problems sometimes with the anatomy of his figures. He got better with time, but this is still early on, and they're still like, yeah, where's his arm? It's not as obvious as some other artists, though.
I mean, it is. Manfred's right. It's still very
zoomed in. Yeah,
there we go. It has just zoomed out.
Finally,
the background is better than the foreground for me. I like that figure in the background. I think there's a real sense of mystery about her. It's not gratuitous. She's not.
I like the flow of the cloth that she's holding up. Like you really feel like she jumped up with it or something.
I like that. The fact that there's that misty effect in the background and that sort of. You can see the ape-like face coming out of there. What is the meaning? What is the meaning of that?
Yeah, exactly. Do I find the ape face seems out of place somehow? I'm going to go forward to the next page, assuming that StreamYard's going to take forever.
It's moved nicely. I mean, I'm going to give this one a 7. The anatomy's odd, but I think the background makes up for it.
Yeah, I think 7 is fair. Yeah, and this one is called the Berserker. Yes, she's turning the cloth into smoke or appeared out of the smoke. Yeah, so this one is one of the classics.
The horse is better.
The horse is better. The guy looks like he's freaking out, like the horse is out of control. It's like, don't charge into the opposing army.
I think he's just going berserk, and the horse is going berserk with him.
Yeah, that might be it too.
He's holding his shield completely wrongly, as if he's about to whack somebody with it, rather than actually use it as a shield.
Maybe, yeah.
Look where his hand is on the shield.
Yeah.
He's not using it as a shield. He's using it as a weapon.
No, he's not. Exactly. Yeah, it does have a story to tell. Berserker would not do much good versus undead, just saying. Yeah, because the one enemy soldier we can see the face of, it's a skull.
Yeah, I do think the undead soldiers look fantastic.
They do.
I think the background is really, really dramatic. I love the way all the armies are lined up with all their shields in the background, and there's an indistinctness about the background.
Yeah, I also I like the fact, like a barbarian army, you wouldn't have standardized equipment. So you look at the shields, they're different. Some are oval, some are round, some are like, there's different shape of shields because everybody brings their own equipment. It's not. Whereas the undead army seems to have more standardized equipment. It's, their shields all look the same, round shield with that boss in the center. And that's
the undead army are more regimented then, I'm guessing.
Yeah, maybe. Armies of chaos are suspiciously organized.
Who's commanding them?
Yeah, that's true. This one we see more. There's more potential for story and questions in this one. Is the army behind him with the berserker, or is it part of the rest? Is he screaming a challenge about what he's going to do to them with specific body parts? Yeah. I also like the axe head sticking out of his attached to his horse. If you see it.
I do. It's doesn't
No,
seem right.
I've got more than just these two weapons. I've come equipped.
I mean, his grip on the shield
Mm-hmm.
is still what drags my attention, and that looks wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he's doing with it, other than possibly going to swipe with it to use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
It might be that he's lost all control of his senses. He is a berserker. His sword looks too short.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think he looks great.
Mm-hmm.
I like that sort of ominous hand coming in from the right-hand side.
Yes.
It's odd.
There's some odd stuff. There's also, he's actually got now the word escapes me. You know, when you ride a horse, like back in Greek time, like Bronze Age, they didn't have the thing you put your foot in when you're riding horses. Stirrups, yeah. So he's got stirrups there. And I'm curious to know if he took an image, like a photo from some rodeo for the pose of the horse and the rider, the initial,
Very
just
possibly,
as basic inspiration, because it gives one of the feel I get is that, you know, like the rider barely holding on to spot on the horse.
Despite my misgivings about the shield and his sword, I'm going to give it a 9 because it makes you look at it. It makes you look at it. It makes you unpick, try and unpick the various parts.
Yeah. Yeah. The next one is a detail, so I'm just going to go to the incomplete painting. Okay. Because that's just part of the
snow giants. Yeah. Okay. So these are frost giants.
Yeah, these are the frost giants. This is actually straight from a Conan story, and this is the cover of the very first Conan book I ever read.
Right, giants aren't big enough.
And it's they're not quite big enough. The basic story, we don't see her. It's called the Frost Maiden, I think. I'd have to double check. The Frost Giant's daughter. Thank you, Halakar.
Yeah, I plan to read it on the channel very shortly.
Yeah, it's an excellent story, and it's in that book that I read. I remember that very much because I was so used to, in the 70s, so often the cover of a book had nothing to do with what was in it. This was a scene from the story. It was like, wow, this is so cool. And because of the nostalgia factor, I'm going to be giving it a 9, even though I do know there are some problems with it.
Yeah. Is the mountain copied from the Matterhorn?
It wouldn't surprise me.
I think the mountain looks good. I love the fact that the boots have sunk into soft snow at the front. The pose is bonkers. The giant on the left, I mean, I don't think the giants are big enough.
I think they should be bigger.
I mean, assuming the barbarian's about 6 foot in height and he's ducking down, the giants don't look any bigger than 8 or 9 feet.
Yeah.
But I think their poses are interesting. Has he just lopped off the right-hand giant's right arm?
That's what it seems to be, but I don't see, because we don't see the end of his arm.
No, we don't.
And the giant seems to have taken a blow because his helmet's in the middle of falling off.
Yeah.
So it's not too clear, but I like this one a lot. I'm going to be giving it a 9. The guy on the right with the reddish hair.
The barbarian's about to die, in my opinion. There's a giant on the left. He's clearly in the process of bringing the axe down on his shoulder. He's about to cleave him in two. It's a 7 from me because the poses are weird. I don't think the giants are big enough. If the giant on the right is supposed to be wielding that massive axe in just his left hand, that's wrong. but where
Yeah.
is his right arm? If it's just been lopped off, why not show it?
Yeah.
The right hand giant I don't like, because I tend to be quite squeamish, but I want to see that arm that's been lopped off.
If it has been lopped off.
He would not be
Yeah.
fighting with an axe like that in just his left hand, even if he is
Yeah.
left-handed. It's too
Yeah.
big.
Yeah. So, like I said, for me, there's a big chunk of nostalgia with this image, so I'm not very objective with it. Halakar mentioning that barbarians never dress for the weather, and no, Grim Squirrel. There's an arm or that you can't see because none of us can see it. Oh, maybe that's it. Grim Squirrel says maybe it's his elbow and he's holding his neck, and so that makes sense.
Wrong.
Actually,
It still looks wrong.
It still looks odd. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the next page. We'll see when StreamYard deigns to go to the next page for us. Bjorn must be flicking away out of the picture.
The swamp demon.
Here we go. The swamp demon. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say straight. I mean, I'm gonna like this.
Yeah.
Because of the horror elements.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that demon has just been summoned or whether it's being restrained.
That's not clear. Or if it's just this demon that's living in the swamp.
I'm not mad keen on the sexual overtones of the snake between the woman's legs.
No, me neither.
It's a little gratuitous.
Yeah.
But I think the trees, vines, swamp look fantastic. I think the demon looks awesome. You don't quite know what state the demon is in. What is she doing? Is she forcing it back, or is she summoning it? Is she commanding it? And it feels like she's summoning it because of the presence of the snake. Snakes are seen as evil, a twisting influence.
Yes.
It has got that gratuitous element to it, which puts me off a little.
Yeah, and she seems to be holding her the arm she's got raised. That weird hand gesture seems to be part of some sort of ritual.
It does, yes, yeah.
So, but I'm
going to give it a 9 out of 10 because I like the atmosphere of it. I like the questions it asks.
Yeah. I'm going to be more like of an 8. I'm going to go to the next page. Hopefully, we won't have to wait too long. But no, I like the atmosphere. There's just a few things that are odd for me about it. And this is simply called "Woman with a Sight." I think fairly descriptive.
Right.
I don't find that one to be too exciting, actually. It doesn't do much for me.
Right, okay. I think the expression on her face is fantastic. I think the slender snake that she's gripping is good. I like the flames in the background.
Yeah.
But
I don't like the sight.
The side is awful.
Yeah.
It's too flimsy.
Yeah.
The iguana thing at the front just looks, the dopiness just takes away from any dramatic impact of the image. Are those blue bird wings in the background?
Yeah, I'm seeing like right here there's like you can see the head and then one wing, and then I'm not sure what the other thing is. Is it like the back of another one of those iguana things, or I don't know.
Well, one of the first things, why can you see her ribs and yet she's tummy and hips are off, like she's tipping forward. I don't like the lizard good. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
It looks. Why can you see her ribs and yet she's got a big stomach? Has she had a cesarean section?
Yeah.
It looks
like what's
a
this
cesarean section scar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Her hips look
does.
weird. She's she is. She looks.
There's some weird stuff. There's some weird stuff happening. The knee looks very odd too.
I hadn't even looked at the knee. There's too much other
Yeah, but it's.
nonsense going on.
I mean, it's the legs look. It's going the wrong way compared. If you look at the hips and stuff, are there
Yeah,
even
yeah.
ribs? Yeah, it's yeah. I'm
If this image had
underwhelmed
just
by
been a
this.
face, it would have been a 10 out of 10. I think her face is her head,
Yeah,
face
yeah.
around there is fantastic.
I mean,
But it's a 4 for me.
I'm gonna zoom in. If it had been something like this, I don't know if. Of course, now it's not updating. I just zoomed in where you mostly see her face and her arm. You don't see the sight. I just cropped it just at her upraised hand.
Then it would look great.
I find then it actually looks better. I haven't really cropped it really carefully either. I could do a better job because when I first did it, you didn't see the head of the snake. But I think cropped would look much better. Of course, it does make a good book cover because it's a horizontal image the way I cropped it. But I'm going to flip to the next image so that we can...
Yeah, it's a 4 from me for the
not wait too long.
image.
Yeah. I was going to say 5. And it's just like the face and the hand holding the snake that saves it for what little saving it gets. You know what's not saving? It's StreamYard. It's not saving us because we're still dying here.
Poor StreamYard.
I like it. I do not like war sites, and the reptile does look goofy. That site looks like the first thing it's going to hit, the handle's going to break. In fact, that site looks like if I pick it up, the weight of the blade would break the handle.
Yeah. A war site is a 200 weapon on a 6-inch, says a 6-foot long, sturdy shaft, and that isn't. Mm-hmm. That's just bonkers.
Yeah. But also the sights we often think of the scythe as, you know, the implement the Grim Reaper has, which is for mowing, you know, while you're standing, you're holding it with both hands, you mow down the
blade
wheat.
of the scythe comes over your head.
Yes, and you do this weird sweeping motion to the side, you know, like you go down and then you go towards the side with it. But a long time the sides people had, there were one-handed tools that you grabbed a bunch of the wheat and then you swiped with it.
Yeah.
Yes, it is for cutting wheat.
Okay.
So this next one,
I'm going to be a real nerd here. Tyrannosaurus Rex is spelt incorrectly.
Yes, I know. It's got one too many N's.
Okay. Head of the T-Rex is decent. Rest of the body is bloody awful.
Yeah, the arms are way too big for the T-Rex, though, you know.
The Triceratops is... Yeah. Why is the man getting involved?
Yeah.
No, I don't like this one at all. Look, I love the head of the T-Rex. I think it's really frightening, aggressive. He's got the teeth, he's got the look, but the rest of the image is a no from me.
Yeah.
Absolute no.
I like the pose of the man, you know, but he's out of place in this image, I feel.
Completely. I agree with Manfred. It's a 3 out of 10 here for me.
Yeah. I'm going to be a bit more generous. I'll give it a 4, but there's a lot of problems with it, indeed.
I mean, I get the whole thing from the 60s about the land that time forgot and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there was
Valley of Gwangi and things like that. So I just, again, moved ahead of time. This is the cover image. We've already rated it. I think it still holds up. I think our initial rating is still fair.
Yeah. Chat, what do you reckon to this one? This was the cover.
Yeah.
I can see it better now, actually.
I know, actually. So
My screen zoomed in.
I have physical copies of this book, and the cover is a different stock and looks different from the interior. So you
I
see
think
more.
it's beautiful. I think
Yeah.
I think it's stunning, and now I can see it better. It's bigger.
We can see it better. And
Even better.
one of the things you can see is, like, you know where the large cat is, where it's got its paw in front? There's a carpet there. You can see the pattern on the carpet, which we
Yeah,
couldn't see at all on the cover. Adds more details to it and stuff.
Halakar's being cheeky.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is. I mean, this is. I can't remember whether I gave it 8.5, not 8. I think I gave it 8 originally. Let me bump this up to a 9. Now I've seen it close.
Yeah, I think so too, because we see more detail to it, and I think a 9.
I think it's fantastic. I think this is the best image we've seen so far, and we've obviously seen it already, but now we see closer up. It's the
next
best
one is called. Next one is called Sun Goddess. I apologize for the abrupt switches, as I'm just worried about having to wait minutes between images. Yeah.
Has she got cellulite?
Yeah, it appears so. There's a weird texture to her legs.
Women who are watching, don't ever feel ashamed. Even Frank Frazetta women have a bit of cellulite. Real women have cellulite.
Smilodon's face is a bit
Smilodon's
weird.
face is wrong. You're right there.
Yeah.
This is one where there's an indistinct
are those drooping ears?
Yeah.
That's weird.
The Smilodon's awful.
Yeah. It's another one of those fairly abstract backgrounds.
Queen would say she makes the rocking world go round.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Here's one. Yeah, the weird. I love the weird background in this one.
I like the backgrounds. I like this kind of background. I think one of the problems is we're seeing this without, whatever the book it was, the title of whatever book it was, and the name of the author, because that helps. These kinds of backgrounds are,
if the book is called The Droopy Smilodon with a Cropped Tail, then it works.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called, because I don't recall seeing I don't have a book with that on the cover. So there are sad looks like a golden lab puppy. There is some very dog-like elements to that Smilodon.
It's a 4 from me, because the Smilodon should really have put more effort into that Smilodon.
Yeah.
There's so many. It feels like a wasted opportunity, and no matter how much I look at the good parts of this, what is she doing with that knife? Is she about to sacrifice the Smilodon?
Yeah.
Is she about to sacrifice herself? It's called Sun Goddess. So what is she doing? Is she sacrificing to the Sun Goddess? Is she the Sun Goddess? The background's fantastic. I love the rock that she stood on. I think the background's fantastic. I think her pose is dramatic. It's just the Smilodon. The Smilodon just pulls your attention away and just makes it daft. It's a 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think a 5. I'll move forward, because of course StreamYard will not follow me again. Yeah. This one's
YouTube's
called Atlantis.
20 seconds behind, because I'm not drinking anymore. I'm seeing myself drink from 20 seconds ago.
Yeah. So Manfred, I assume the 5 out of 10 was for the Sun Goddess with the droopy-eared Smilodon.
I think so.
Because I think this is way better.
Absolutely. It's a statue, so you expect the over perfect depiction of the abdomen and the pecs and all of that. You get that in statues.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
probably copied
And
a Thracian or a Spartan statue to do
yeah,
this.
I was going to say, because the soldier having his shield down on the ground like that is a very common thing in statues, because it allows you to make the whole thing more stable.
hmm
You know,
And I think the temple or whatever it is in the background is really nicely done, faded out, and I love
yes,
the reflection in the water
Yeah.
beneath the statue. I think that's really nicely handled.
yeah.
There's the volcano blowing up in the background. Is this meant to be? Oh,
It's
it's
called
Atlantis.
Atlantis. Yeah,
Look a typo again.
yeah,
Another
Atlantis.
typo. Atlantis.
Yeah,
This is great. This is really, really good. This is one of his best ones. It's
It
up there with
is.
the cover. It's a definite 9, right up there with
Yeah.
the cover for me. This would have looked great on the cover.
Yes, it would have. And as a book cover, it's a little bit odd because there's no space on the top for the title.
No.
So the title would have to be at the bottom where the reflection is. But I've seen books that are like that. So,
And I love the brightness from the background, really showing this is a volcano that has blown. This is shrouding everything in this burning yellow light.
Yeah.
It's
and the shaking earth has gotten those columns to fall down, and you know,
fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that this one's a 9.
I mean, I'm tempted to go higher. I'm tempted to go with a 9.5.
I will, yeah. There's, I mean, whatever I have critique wise is nitpicking. There's there's some things with the reflection that is correct, but there are some things that are wrong with the reflection, which is why it doesn't go higher than a 9 for me.
For me, that's a so what. It doesn't detract from the image. It doesn't detract. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is a beautiful image. So I'll go to the next one now, but we can maybe enjoy watching it a little bit longer while we wait for for StreamYard to catch up. And here we have the Silver Warrior.
I'm looking at it on my left-hand screen. Oh, it's now appeared on the right-hand screen. It looks better on my right-hand screen. The left-hand screen is a bit too crisp. I can see more texture on the right-hand screen.
Is that a function of the screen, or?
I think StreamYard is slightly blurring it, which makes it look better to me.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at it in the PDF, and it's the bears are super sharp. There's you can see some lines there.
There's a hint of blurring on mine because I've got my YouTube open on the right-hand side, and that's actually the one that's slightly blurred. But no, the bears look great.
The bears look great. I do agree with Grim Squirrel that they're small for polar bears, or the guy's a giant because
so a warrior is spelt wrongly. That's a third spelling mistake.
Yeah, and considering how few words there are, it's sad.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm thinking is odd in this is the width of the snow skis. They seem to be a bit the perspective is wrong. The one on the left hand side is at a different angle to the one on the right hand side. If it wasn't for that, this would be the first 10 from me.
Well, General Nuts asking if these were the full versions of the artwork. We've seen before, and I do think it comes again once or twice, that they show a detail of a painting and they point out it's only part of it. So I will assume that if it might not, I mean, there might be a little bit of cropping all around, but it should be minimal. I think the ski's not lying. The other thing that kind of bothers me is that mountain in the background, and I understand the mountain fades into some mist, but it seems to be floating at random up there. which again is also why it's not going higher than 9 for me.
I'm going to drop it to an 8 because
Yeah.
I just think the skis look wrong.
Mhm.
I think he should have put more thought into the perspective on the skis.
Yeah.
And yes, it does look like his hair is glued to his sword a little bit, but I'm going to forgive that bit, and it's wonderfully dramatic.
Yeah.
The pose is great. I think the polar bears are great. I think he is likely larger than an average human.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think his snow chariot, apart from the skis, looks wonderful. In fact, it's only the
Yeah.
left-hand ski that looks wrong. The right-hand ski looks
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And yes, it's an 8 for me. It's an 8 for me.
Okay. I'm going to go to the next page. At some point it will go forward. There we go. This one's called the Galleon. And I have a feeling I've seen this on the cover of a book, and it's a science fiction book where they
It
get to this.
wouldn't have sold the book to me.
No. But it appears to be some sort of space, probe that people send down, and they get on this planet where there are floating sailing ships. Captain Nemo kind of feel. I don't quite see it. I see Captain Nemo more very much into Victorian technology. Manfred's getting tired. Yeah, catch up with the rest of the stream later, my friend.
I like this. Oh, cheers, Manfred. Manfred, if you want to play tomorrow, you're more than welcome to play. Just, what I'm going to, what I'm thinking. I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm thinking. But Iman's okay with you playing tomorrow, so.
Mm-hmm.
So come and join us, Manfred. Keep playing Call of Cthulhu.
So you're saying the smoke coming out of the machine?
Look, for this one, I love the background. Have you seen the Turner painting, the Fighting Temeraire?
Yes, it does remind me of Turner. The light.
Yeah, and that is a magnificent painting. In fact, it was voted. It was voted by the British public as the best painting in a British art gallery.
Wow,
it's magnificent.
Yeah.
And it gives me a little those sort of vibes. What I don't like, and I'm going to say it, I don't like that metallic probe in the middle, in the front.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's for some sci-fi fantasy crossover, but it throws me off. It throws me off.
Mm-hmm. I like the ship. I love the ship. It's actually it's very reminiscent of the classical sailing ship, but once you look at it closely, it's very different too. Because ships don't go narrow on top like that. The way this one does. The ship looks great.
The oddness of it, it works. It's just that presence of that probe thing at the front. And okay, if it was for a work that was a sci-fi fantasy pulp sort of blend, then fair enough. But I think that probe thing at the front just looks awful.
Yeah, I think
a spindly leg coming off it.
Yeah, this is a very different Frazetta painting because he's very much a figure painter. There are other artists who do, gear and machines and vehicles much, much better than him. And we see that here. And that sailing ship is like the exception here,
Remove that probe thing from the front and just have a mysterious sailing ship floating in this sort of burning mist above the mysterious sea. And this painting would be a 10.
Mm-hmm.
This painting would be magnificent. The probe ruins it.
Yeah, I think the probe ruins it for different reasons for us. But I agree with you that if I put my hand to hide, like If I was to pretend that boat is in the water, even, where I don't see the bottom of the hull, it still looks great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna
It's
give
a
it an
7.
8.
I'm
gonna give it
giving
an
it a 7.
8 because I love that ship so much. So General Nut, behave yourself. We're trying to be family friendly.
Are we? It's
I
late
don't
here.
know.
We're past what they call babe station hours here.
Yeah. We're not here.
It's midnight. So I can be
Yeah.
as rude as I like now.
And I think Grim Squirrel is getting the kids ready for the day. So yeah, she's got to pop away for a bit. Hopefully, I'll be back in time. If not, see you guys. Yeah, do see. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go to the next one. I don't know if
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, we can still enjoy seeing that ship because it's so nice. There we go.
Ship's fantastic.
Yeah.
The background's awesome. I firmly agree with the British voting public regarding the Fighting Temeraire. I think it is.
Oh yes. That
it's gorgeous.
I like Turner. He's a really good artist, and that is one of his best. So this one's called Banth. So you probably won't know this, but the Banth, if I recall, is that weird 8-legged lion tiger hybrid in Edgar Rice Burroughs' Barsoom.
Okay.
So that would be John Carter and the Princess of Mars. So
it looks like how I imagine a displacer beast.
Yeah.
Apart from the head being big, too big and lion-like.
But it also has too many legs. It's got 8 legs.
Displacer beasts have extra legs. 6, I think.
They might actually. I'd have to check. I've seen the original artwork for the original Displacer Beast, where it comes from.
I don't know whether I don't know the origin of the Banth, but yeah. I like this. I think I really do like this. This is I have an affinity for black and white line drawing.
Yes. I mean, it's one thing I like about these books is, while I like to see the color artwork, there are so many artist books where they only ever show the color paintings, the color illustrations, and they've done a ton of black and white stuff for magazines and books, and you never see them in here. And seeing those here is nice.
Look at some of the D&D artists.
Yes.
I'm going to say it now. Russ Nicholson's black and white art had a lovely weird oddity to it.
Yes.
With the exception of the Player's Handbook.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look. Sorry, the Monster Manual. I mean,
yes.
Sutherland did some okay black and white stuff. His color stuff was appalling, in my opinion. Other artists who I think were better when it came to black and white, and it might be a bit controversial to say this, but Trampier's.
Yes, I like his black and white stuff.
His color Player's Handbook cover was great, but my favorite piece by him is that treasure piece on the back of Monster Manual.
Yes,
it's magnificent. I love it. Love it to bits. There's nothing that can be said bad against that piece. It benefits from being black and white.
Yes, Easily Black and White was also great. And
Caldwell. Look at Caldwell's black and white stuff. Caldwell's internal art for Ravenloft was his best work, and I will fight anybody over that. His black and white work inside Ravenloft module was stunning. His color stuff was not so good.
Yeah.
And this to me is what fantasy art should be.
Yes.
This picture here. It's a bizarre beast.
Yeah.
That really makes not a lot of sense. It almost looks like a combination of a Chinese dragon and a lion
and a
and
tiger.
a tiger, and you've got the heroic
what a weird
barbarian.
tail. And yeah.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
9.5 from me.
Yeah. I'll give it a solid 9. And I will point out, forgot who it is, but there's somebody who did more like in the 90s. He did covers for Edgar Rice Burroughs' Barsoom, and he had to illustrate that band. And he said it like he tried tons and tons of poses, and in the end, he also ended up with a pose like that because he goes, getting any animal with 8 legs to look remotely okay from the side is pretty much impossible. So you end up having like a facing pose because you can hide the problems. You know?
Well, he's hidden it well. He's hidden it very well.
It works, you know. So
yeah. That's great. That's really good.
And again, I will move. Okay, so it seems to be reacting fast. I'm going to zoom into this one a bit because there's lots of nice detail. So this one I like a lot because it tells a story.
Yes.
You know, he jumped up. He's helping her climb up. They're, you know, racing away from the cavemen, ape men that are in the background. This is a lovely pencil piece. Maybe some ink too, but I think it's only pencil. Which is the other thing about this book that's annoying. They don't tell you what the medium was, which sometimes is nice to see.
You can see that he's straining to lift her up.
Yes.
Though his pose isn't ideal for lifting a person up. I will tell you that now.
Yeah.
He's overly reaching, but he may have to be doing that at the heat of the moment. The 8 men are great. The 8 men pursuing her are great. It preserved her modesty just enough.
Yes,
I'm a little bit of a prude when it comes to smart work.
I like the fact she has a sword.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You know, and so do the cavemen. Those aren't clubs.
Oh no, right. I didn't notice that.
They're blades. So I like that. You know, it's adding something. You know, it's nice to see people adding details that are different. Like, you know, giving the ape men clubs would have been, he's done that. We've seen it 2 or 3 times before in this book, and I know it's been done by other artists and by Frazetta many times before. So giving them just that bit of extra once in a while makes it really nice.
I think he's got the focus of the details right in this picture as well. He's really put the focus on the front 2 figures by not overdoing the little rocky outcrop and the foliage. By not overdoing, he's just got the balance right here.
Yeah.
Between where your focus should be,
and
that is on the hero saving the damsel.
Yeah. And I zoomed in so we could see a bit more detail, but with a lot of white space around it, just looks great.
Nutty's not a fan of the spaceship on his head.
Yeah.
It does, it's slightly overblown given the lack of other armor he's wearing.
Yeah. I mean, this was functional. Yeah. It's got a 1973 date, but it's clearly inspired by a lot of earlier artwork. Like the sword and the helmet is very much from the 40s sci-fi illustrations.
Certainly the hilts look usable on the swords. The helmets are overblown. The hilts look usable on the swords.
Yeah, but I'm going to give this one a solid 8.5.
I agree, 100% agree.
Okay, I'm going to go to the next one. StreamYard is eventually going to go to the next one.
It's gone to StreamYard's gone to the next one for me. YouTube has now caught up.
YouTube has got it now. Okay, this one's called. Oh yeah, so we actually now know what book this is from, and there's a quote: "With wide distended jaws came the great white lizard, from A Fighting Man of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. So let me zoom in again because I find it.
Yeah, need to zoom in.
One of the problems with fine line art and pixels is that you lose some of the lines when you're too zoomed out. Yeah.
Okay.
So clearly the previous one was also Barsoom because we see the same helmets and everything.
I think he's got the tone. The image matches the quote very nicely.
Yes, it does.
The lizard looks very well fed.
Yes, it does. I mean, you could see on the side it's bulging out.
Yes.
You'd figure because reptiles will often gorge and then go dormant for extensive periods of time, and they do look bloated like that when they do, but then they would be attacking anything else.
Get food when it can.
Yes. You know what? I saw this documentary years and years ago about this river in Africa where there's the crocs are there, and once a year, wildebeest and zebras and other animals migrate and cross the river, and that's their once yearly chance to get to eat. And they gorge themselves, and then they go dormant for the rest of the year. But you'd see them after they'd fed, and they would look like that, like the belly distended.
Well,
and stuff.
Look at constrictor snakes.
Yes, that too.
They have to eat very often.
But the reason I was mentioning crocodiles because lizards are closer to crocs than to snakes. So
Now, this image, it's got two male figures.
Yeah.
And it may sound weird to those of you watching, but it shows that Frazetta was not in any way sexist.
Yes, it does. He'll show as much skin for men or women.
Yeah. And I'm not generally a fan of too much skin, but when they are from behind or from the side and just sort of not showing too much, not gratuitous.
Yeah.
They work. And so he's got the bodily proportions.
Yes.
Right here. I don't know if the swordsman would be holding his sword as far back as that, but at least the proportions of the bodies look good. Certainly the guy in the foreground is excellent. The lizard's fantastic.
Yes. I'm going to point out something. Remember when I said in the Wolfman image, look at those branches, that weird thing on the ground, and we see that again. That weird formation of branches. Frazetta uses that a lot to sort of, without drawing the entire space, evoking it.
And it works really well here.
It does really work well here. So
it's one of the best images we've had. It's one of the best. It's a solid 9 from me. I think it's great.
Same here. I'm going to go to the next one again in anticipation of StreamYard taking its own sweet time. We're about 2/3 of the way through, by the way. So,
her veiled eyes.
Yeah, Her veiled eyes seem to read my very soul. From The Swords of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Okay, so it's a complete change of tone.
Yes. I will again zoom in. So,
waiting for the YouTube one to zoom in so I can see it better.
Yeah. There you go. At least I see it on my YouTube now.
It's got a, you know how medieval artwork often showed very, what's the best word? Fertile women.
Yes.
With wide childbearing hips.
Yeah.
Even though her bodily proportions don't look quite right, her
Hmm.
abdomen looks too long.
Yeah.
The fact that she's very voluptuous, not your stick thin model, is great.
Yeah.
She's clearly beautiful. His pose is awkward.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he's chosen a different topic for this one.
Yes. It's nice to see a like non-combat, non-action scene. Alternatively, paint me like you're French girls. Yeah. Hey, Prince Charming, I'm not sleeping, but you can still kiss me. Yeah.
This
And
is, I mean,
also,
this one is saucy. This one is
Mhm.
very saucy. It is like, come here, big boy.
Yeah.
Um,
And also the pose and that couch thing she's on, very reminiscent of some classical paintings.
yeah. He's got inspiration from old school. Very, I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He knows his
60s.
history of art, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, so
I mean, look back at those ancient, those the old masters
yeah,
images meant to be showing Greek goddesses. They
yeah.
were very voluptuous women. They were
Mhm.
not. They were not your stick thin
They're not.
model.
No, they weren't. That's a very recent thing, historically speaking.
Oh yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. I mean, I think he's done a good. I mean, I do wish he'd got her stomach a little bit
yeah,
better in proportion.
yeah.
I think that's odd.
Hmm.
He gets a 7 from me
Yeah.
because apart from her stomach
There's
being,
something odd with his right arm.
yeah,
That it distracts me. It might be quibbling, but yeah, I think a
he's
7 is
tried to do
fair.
something different. He's tried
Yeah.
to do something different, and he's got these the ambiance very nicely. The figures aren't perfect.
Yeah. The feel of it is nice, and it's also one problem sometimes with some books where there's a lot of talking or non-action happening, and there's a few scenes of actions, and then the illustrators will focus on those scenes, sometimes giving a wrong impression of what a book is like because of that.
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah.
hard to do this. It's harder to get the ambiance and the atmosphere of a scene happening. And the next one's a detail, so I'm gonna just go straight to the full image, and I assume everyone here will know the Death Dealer.
Okay.
The Black, also known as the Black Rider, I think, because there's a whole bunch of books now made with him. I like this one. It's nice. The pose is very static. He's just standing there on his horse, well, sitting on his horse.
I think that adds more
But
gravitas. It's like
but
he
it does
stopped.
add, yeah,
He stopped there. He's saying he's turning to you with his axe in his hand and saying, "Well, mortal,
yeah,
come on."
yeah. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying compared to everything else we've seen before, which was very dynamic in general, except for the just image previous, which was a very calm scene. This one is like the eye of the storm,
Yeah, oh
and
yes.
he's in the eye of the storm. Because you can see there's burning in the background. There's hints that there's chaos all around, and he's just the eye of the storm.
He singled the
And
viewer out, and he's
yes,
like, right,
that too. And yeah,
here we go.
General Nut is right. This is a famous painting.
Sorry, 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah, that's a 10. That's a 10.
It's a straight 10. It's a straight 10. I love the black sheen on the horse. I love just the red eyes and the image on the shield and just the whole ambiance of
and the texture on the saddle and all sorts of stuff, details like that. General Nutt states that he's surprised this is not the cover image. It could very well have been chosen, but I do think because this book was printed in 75, and the Death Dealer was not as famous then as it probably is now.
This is one of the greatest pieces of fantasy art, bar none.
Yes, it is. But it might not have been considered that at the time, which is why they might not have put it on the cover. That's all I'm saying.
It's magnificent. It's magnificent.
It is. It is.
This is Frazetta to me. This is
and little detail like the tail of the horse being tied the way it is, which people did do. Stuff like that. It's nice. I like it. It's
stunning. It's absolutely stunning. I would have a picture of this on my wall, and I would frame it, and it would look fantastic.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If I could get a print of that. Okay, let's go on to the next one.
It's going to be hard to match that one.
Oh yeah, it's going to be hard. So this is the Mammoth. And again, I'm going to go with some personal reminiscence, but this is the cover of the very first Pellucidar book I ever read. Another Edgar Rice Burroughs series, which is in a hollow earth. So where prehistoric animals of all sorts live.
You know what? It's superb.
Yeah, it's a great one.
The only thing that gets me is and this is very nitpicky, the slightly misshapen spearhead.
Yes.
But apart from that, the whole perspective, the dynamic pose, the desperation, the scale, the size of that mammoth, the stunning looking mountain backdrop, tangle at the front showing the chaos of the battle of the mammoth crashing through the undergrowth. I think this is wonderful. I think this is absolutely wonderful.
And it might be hard to see, but that spearhead actually looks like it's flint, like it's a stone head.
Okay.
Which would be one reason it might not be a perfectly symmetrical shape like a metal one. Reminds me of the Reign of Chaos module. I think it's either Companion or Master.
Yes. That was one of the UK ones, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's Companion. I'm sure it is. CM5 or 6. That's clearly a copy of this cover. Mm-hmm. The cover of that module is clearly a copy of this. I think this is fantastic. This is the second best one so far.
Yeah. To me, that's a 9.5.
Yeah,
9.5.
That Death Dealer was a 10. This is a 9.5. I agree with you.
Yeah. Going on to the next one.
You'll see how he's improving as time goes on, can't you?
Yes, because this is 70s, early 70s. This one is called Indomitable. Barbarian with his axe.
His axe feel, and is that a blood splash coming from the top of his axe? If it is,
then the movement looks weird. I like the idea of having that, but if I'm holding the axe like this is not the direction I would be swinging it in. To me, anyway.
I think it's a blood splash though. He's swinging it backwards for another slash. Yeah, so I think it's already hit something. And that's just blood flying off it. In which case, it's fine.
Something feels odd to me about it. I'm not sure.
I like it. it.
No, I like the image overall. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not a fan of double-bladed axes. They are a waste of weight.
Yeah.
Especially with such a short handle.
Yes.
That's the only thing about this image that throws me off.
Yeah,
I think the rest of it is great.
The
more realistic axe would have made this for me.
Yeah. And it's we've often seen, and Frazetta has done it before and we'll do it again, but that pyramidal composition with the guy on top, playing King of the Hill with all the other fighting off everybody else.
I like that.
But
That's
I
fine.
love that. I love that. It's
Yeah.
no, it's fine, but it's it's great, this one. And Frazetta has done it many times, but he manages to make it look and feel slightly different every time.
Yes.
You know, with the guy he's holding by the neck and swinging his axe, and that weird reptile head coming out. I'm
The
not sure
shadow
what that
works.
is.
The shadow across his body works.
Yes,
The
that's
lighting
nice
works.
detail.
You can see how he's got to grips with lighting over time.
Yeah,
I would have liked to have seen some lighting though on the two individuals to the right.
yes. Yeah, it
That's
would be
a
nice
bit odd.
to be able to distinguish a bit more what's happening there.
Yeah. If his axe had been good,
Yeah,
this would have been right up there. As it is, it's a 7.5 from me.
yeah. I was going to give it a 7, but yeah.
I like the dynamism. The dynamism's good.
Halakar tells us it's from Conan the Warrior. He knew he'd seen it, which, I should have really pulled out all my Conan and Edgar Rice Burroughs books that have, so I could tell people what the title of the book is.
Yes.
I'll do that next time, because this is actually book 1. The ISFDB tells me there's 5. I have the first 4, so on paper. I've never seen the 5th one, so I'll see what I can do about the others. But let's go to the next painting in the meantime. And I'll tease it while we wait for it, but it's a classic.
Indomitable is
yeah, but
ooh.
This is a classic Conan cover. I have that book.
Right. What's going on here? Why is that ape man wearing that massive red cloak?
Yeah.
What's that shield doing in the background?
Yeah.
It's really dramatic. I love the way his teeth are caught by the light and his bracelet is caught by the light.
Yes.
But I don't really know what's happening.
Well, what you can see is Conan jumped onto him because behind the ape man's head, you see Conan's lower leg. You can't quite make out his foot, but you can, and he's, because he's small. Seraphis, you silly pirate, you.
Well, he's about to put a judo hold on his neck.
Yeah.
There is an excellent judo.
Halakar is right.
If he hooks his feet now,
if
he hooks his feet now, there's an excellent judo hold where you'll now sit up and
the person's on the floor.
Yeah, the person's on the floor. Yeah. And you sit up
and you just sort of perched on their head with your feet hooked and wrapped around their neck. And it's like, I can do what the hell I like and you're stuck. It's a wonderful hold. It works really well. It looks like he's not going to quite get it because the robe is in the way.
Yeah. So Halakar says, if I remember, the ape man was wandering loose in the prison. Yeah, I think that sounds right to me too. Where Conan's been imprisoned and there's this ape man wandering around in it, and that's how the prison population.
Why is the ape man wearing the red cloak?
I can't remember that. I'd have to go and reread it.
And
it might not actually be specified in the story, and he just put that in to make it dramatic, which works,
I agree with Squirrel though. I think the red lighting on the man makes it confused with the red.
I do agree with her on that. Had it been just quote unquote white or yellow, would have been a bit better. Because there's no source of red light as such, and there's no red highlights on the ape man himself.
I mean, it's brilliantly dramatic.
Yes.
Conan's facial expression's fantastic.
Yeah.
His bodily pose with him leaping is great. The ape man's howling visage is good.
Yeah.
It would have looked better without the red cloak. Simple as that. It's going to get a 6 from me. I think the cloak ruins it.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 7 because one thing I do like is the folds in the cloak. You can tell where the ape man's other arm is, and a lot of people screw things like that up.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to the next one in anticipation. And this is another classic. He wore it with the hood to hide what he really was. Okay, thank you, Halicar. You clearly read those more recently than I have. It's been at least 25 or 30 years since I read the Conan books. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Conan and stuff. I have so many books, and I do reread some, but it takes time before I go back.
Ooh, I like this.
Yeah, well, me too, Halicar. I do want to go back and reread them. This is another Pellucidar one, At the Earth's Core.
I like this.
Yeah. Where
straight away, I want to know what's coming out of the water.
Yeah, and it's weird, and I can't quite tell what it is. And
I like the way the light has illuminated her. Again, it's a heavily muscular body, but it's an imperfect one. It's not your stick thin models. Is that part of the same creature behind? Is that like a little tail appendage sticking out?
I think so.
What's that crouching demon behind in the middle? Another ape man?
Yeah, there's like some sort of ape man, and there's also to the left, there's some other creature.
Yeah.
There's other weird things, and like a snake near the top too. In the middle, you can see like coils of a snake.
Yeah.
I love these hints of monsters, and you can see a few skulls. Clearly this is a dangerous place. This is a dangerous place.
I really like this.
The subtle bird and ape people in the background is kind of cool. Yes, it is. I think that's what makes this image.
This is swords and sorcery at its finest, in my opinion.
Yes.
It's the otherworldliness of the enemy. It's the fragility of the hero or heroine. It's the oddities of things going on in the background. It gives hints of the danger. Has she just summoned it? Is this hinting at the dangers of magic?
Or it almost looks like, she's standing in a pool of water, but it's higher up than where the monster's coming out. So it's like maybe that white behind her is water flowing down, and it's still cascading down, and she's trying to escape it. There's a lot of possibilities here, and that's what I like in an image.
This is a sort of image that inspires me to think of an adventure.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And you see the staircase in the back leading to that doorway. Can she make it?
What's beyond that doorway?
Yeah.
Are those light there. Crouching figures, statues, or living creatures? Where is that water coming from? Is that part of the ritual? Or is it being sucked up?
Yeah. There's so many possibilities. It's great.
It's brilliant. It is brilliant. Yeah. This is a 9.5 from me.
Yeah, for me too. 9.5. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Clambering out of the sea. Yeah.
I already see a perfect hobbit. It hasn't appeared on my other screen yet.
Yeah,
I already see a perfect hobbit. I'm a sucker for perfect hobbits.
Yeah.
I love artwork which has got big feet, hairy hobbits with curly hair, and it's Middle Earth. Yes.
It is Middle Earth.
And it really does.
The hobbit looks like he's ready to face the wolf, but he doesn't relish the idea of it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. He's not.
The expression on his face is just, oh great, now I have to deal with this. Can't you just go away, please?
Beautiful detail on the tree on the dead
Yes.
tree.
And again, that using, you know, some branches, mushrooms, and other things to establish
Yeah,
a space without
And
drawing it all out.
he's got the wolves a lot better now, hasn't he?
Yes, the wolf feels much nicer than that awful one we saw earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is lovely.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it to bits. There's an
Mhm.
innocence to the Hobbit that his expression, even from the side, is one of I'm not sure.
Why do I have to deal with this? It's a pain.
Yeah.
I'd rather be
don't-
home in my hobbit hole,
Yeah.
you know, sipping a
I
nice
want to
cup
eat.
of tea and
I want to eat. Yeah. I
snacking
want
on
to eat honey cakes and pork pies.
snacking on a honey cake is what I was about to say. So yeah,
Yes.
no, that's a solid 9 for me.
It's beautiful. It's 9.5 for me again. I
Yeah.
think Frazetta's really, really coming to his own now.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to the next one, simply called The Bear, who seems to be in some sort of indoor structure. I have a feeling I saw this on a book cover, but I cannot remember the book. The bear's chained. You can see hints of a chain. So this bear has been captured at some point. It didn't just wander in.
Are bears' backs hunchbacked like that?
I've never seen. I mean, I've seen real life bears, and I've never seen a bear with a big hump like that. The closest I've seen is because polar bears are so much longer than a regular bear. Their neck is longer, and they can lower their head, and it looks like their back is hunched, but it's only because, you know, their neck sticks out further than a regular bear.
The proportions feel odd.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's more than a bear.
Yeah, it does.
It's some horror beastie that is a bear, something else composite.
Yeah. Or a werebear or bear beast.
I like the lighting. I like the stairs, though the 3D does look odd in places.
Yeah.
The bear is horrific. The bear's face, the way it's all simultaneously illuminated and silhouetted, is great. The bear's body just feels wrong.
Yeah. I think General Nut is right. It is still better than the polar bears we saw in some ways, but there's also this weird thing where underneath the bear's face you see that clear space between the legs, but I expect there to be a hind leg which seems to be missing. Bears are very squat, you know. And could it be Bjorn from the Hobbit?
The chain suggests no, but other aspects of the slight humanity of the bear, in terms of, as you say, it's a different body structure, possibly.
Yeah. I'm gonna go up to 6.5 because of the atmosphere, but there are things that bug me about the bear.
I was thinking 7.5 personally. I mean, I've got misgivings about the bear, but it's only the body of the bear that's the problem. The rest of it, I think the rest of the picture is fantastic.
Oh yeah, the setting is good. Yeah. Going to the next one, and this is, of course, okay, Savage Pellucidar. So another one of the prehistoric fantasies. So again, it's the same mushrooms that were in Middle Earth.
Is that a root or a snake at the bottom? It's a root, isn't it?
That looks like a root.
Okay.
Because it's got the mushrooms and stuff and some.
The Smilodon's better than the early attempts at Smilodons.
Yes.
The female figure, what's that sticking out the base of her spine?
It looks like she's just wearing some loincloth of some kind.
No, it looks like she's got some weird appendages
sticking
out of her
butt. It looks odd a little bit, I agree.
Short-tailed saber-tooth. Yeah, you are right.
Yeah.
The tail's nonsense. I hadn't seen the tail. No, not for me. This one. She sat awkwardly on the back of it.
Well, well, she's not even sat on it because you can see her leg. Like,
you can't you? Yeah,
you know, she's standing in front of it, and then they're like, "How is she standing like this?" Because, you know, if I'm like, you know, if I'm standing and I sort of try to stand like that, I'm gonna fall over backwards.
Where's her left arm?
That too, yeah. Her left arm is missing, so there we go.
Yeah, yeah. The more I look at it, the more problems I see.
Yeah.
My initial glance was it's not too bad, but the more I look at it, the more it's like, oh, hang on, no.
That muscle is wrong.
Yeah.
Why is the bottom of a boob completely ivory white?
Yeah.
Her spear looks wrong at the end. The saber-tooth's rear end is wrong.
Yeah.
Where's her left arm? Left arm of the tiger for balance. Okay, we'll show some of it then.
Yeah, you need to show some of it. The one thing I'm going to say that's quite interesting is that when you study art, people say that in order for an image to feel dynamic, you want like 50-50 black and white or 50-50 foreground background. And this, if you look at the painted area and the white area, it's like divide the image diagonally. You have one half painted, one half white, but you know, obviously it's not a straight line, but it makes it compositionally it's good, but all the details of the figures start to
well, that fit. I mean, yeah, if you do that 50-50 thing, it's paint by numbers.
Yeah. But it's the thing is that's how you can get a dynamic image happening. And you know, in that sense, compositionally, it's well done, but it's the details that screw it up.
The head of the Smilodon's fantastic.
Yes.
The rest of the images are no for me.
Yeah. I think I'll go with this one. I'll also go with 6.5.
5.
Okay. And we'll go to the next one. And this is a classic. Let me tease it. I got to tease this one. It's such a classic. It gave us the Conan movie.
Is this him foretelling the discovery of Titanoboa?
I don't know. But it is a scene in one of the Conan stories where the snake goes between his legs, he's chained. He painted it, and now I forgot his name, the producer of the first Conan film. Basically, someone was trying to pitch the idea of a Conan film. He saw this painting, he says, we're doing this film. That's what it's, you know, that is the image that sold the Conan movie to the producer. Yeah, Conan the Usurper.
It's brilliant. I mean,
it's great.
The only thing is the thickness of the snake's neck compared to its lower body. They've got the snake's proportions wrong.
Yeah.
Aside from that, that wing in the background, the skeletal images on the left-hand side, Conan straining at the chains.
Yeah.
The rippling muscles on his back.
Yeah.
And
the figures hinted at near the window, because there's that bird-like figure, but there's another one crouching, and then something else in the shadows. Some skeletons and skulls to add to the Dino De Laurentiis. That's it. Thank you, Halakar.
If he'd have just got the head and neck of the snake right, it would have been perfect.
Yeah.
I think he's just too thin on the...
A little bit too thin. And the perspective, because the snake is quite further back, if you look at it. But that's not enough to make that neck so thin.
Still.
But it's still... that's a
it's
great
action-packed,
image.
dramatic, and we're nitpicking.
Yeah, we are.
It's a great piece of art.
Yeah.
It's a solid. It's a 9.
Yeah, it is a 9, a solid 9.
Yeah, and I can understand why they wanted this in the film, because it's a film scene in a piece of artwork.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to go to the next one. This one, also a classic.
To be honest, a film scene in a piece of artwork, I can see this one as well.
Yes, I can. And this is, of course, the classic Conan image. You know, on top of the slain enemies. And maybe she's lamenting and he's hearing the lamentation of their women's. Yeah, Conan the Adventurer. The skull and other figures we see sort of evoked in the background. It's just lovely.
His legs are slightly odd.
Mm-hmm.
Again, though, I am nitpicking.
That's a nitpick. That's a nitpick.
Yeah. I think his right leg is just a little bit weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the hand coming from the pile of dead bodies.
Yes.
The pile of dead bodies looks fantastic.
Yeah.
The way she's clinging onto him. Mm-hmm. And as you say, the skulls, the demonic images in the background really make it.
And there seems to be a city or some sort too. If you look to the right, it's just, it just hinted at. You got to stare and strain and get the pareidolia going to see
it's
it.
There, though. It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why it's a classic.
Yeah, it is. This one's another solid 9 for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Still, that Death Dealer thing is the number 1 for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Death Dealer is, and that's a detail of it.
It's great. It's really good.
And then the next one, of course, now it's waiting, called the Sea Witch.
Ooh.
Which I'm going to zoom in because since it's horizontal, we can have it.
Yes, do so.
Yeah. Sorry for that. That's pretty
Seraphis, you play 3.5, do you? Seraphis. 3.5.
He's playing 5, yeah.
Blah, to 3.5.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love the water. Some people really screw up painting water in movement like that. And you really get the waves crashing on the rocks that she's standing on happening quite well.
Again, this is a piece of fantasy art that makes you think, I want to put an adventure around this.
Yes.
This is stunning. This is absolutely superb.
Yeah. And Grim Squirrel is back. Serpents coming out of the sea are kind of cool. The water looks like it's reacting to her emotions. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Absolutely. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's another 10.
It's absolutely. This is another one that I would frame and put on my wall. It is superb.
Yeah.
It's in fact, I'm going to say now it's one of the best pieces of fantasy art I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think so. And it's nice because it doesn't have any of the classic fantasy trope. It doesn't have a dragon or a unicorn or anything like that.
No.
And it's just so good.
It's so good. It's okay. I mean, the sea is magnificent. The storm, the lizard crawling behind her looks right this time. The way she's lit, her dramatic pose, absolutely everything about that picture is what I want to see in fantasy art.
Yeah.
Oh, this one.
We've seen this one, but this is the back cover now.
Oh, right. Okay.
So we're done. We've rated this one. We know we like it.
Yeah.
And it's just, uh, the
Can
art
you
of
read the
fantastic.
text out? I can't. I mean, the text
Yeah,
is blurred for me.
yeah. In the art of fantastic illustration, the work of Frazetta stands alone, unique in the effectiveness of its lushly sensuous exaggeration, powerful and dramatic, with a sure sense of composition that invariably directs the eye to the most important element in any painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And yeah,
I
we didn't discuss it much. I touched on it a bit with that one image with the half painted, half unpainted, but his
Mhm.
composition in general is so good.
I mean, the best two images for me were dramatic in different ways.
Yes. I'm gonna
And
go back to this one because so good. We can
yeah,
just
I
end
mean
the stream looking at it.
that one has beaten the Deathbringer thing for me. This one
Yeah.
it is stunning, and I love the fact it's the last image in the book. It's the fact that it's the pinnacle of his work.
Yeah.
You could see throughout the book how he was developing, and if this is the way he finished, then fair play, because that's what you want to see.
Yeah. So, as I said, this is the first of, according to the ISFDB, there's 5 books in that series, all by Frank Frazetta. I have the first 4 on paper. I'll try and see what I can do for finding the rest so we can do more of these in the future. And I'm going to wait until I have a Monday and make sure you're available to do the Roy Krenkel book I have, because it's exclusively pen and ink and pencil sketches. The only color piece is on the cover. There's only one color piece in it, and the sketches are just great, and I think you would get a kick out of it. Yeah, Halakar mentions the Frazetta girls. This is actually his daughter, and they do deep dives into different paintings of his, and sometimes also just we'll talk about growing up as with him as a dad. It's a great little channel.
I'm just going to say to Seraphis, my disdain to both 3.5 and 4th edition is at such a level that if a group I was part of voted to adopt either of those systems, I would stop playing with them. That is how much I dislike how those systems work, and I think 3.5 is worse than 4.
Yeah. I remember when I saw 3.5, I was like, I didn't even know there was a 3 because I was out of it. And I would sometimes drop by the bookstore and see and just flip through D&D stuff, even though I didn't have time to play or the money to buy any of it. And I started reading. I was like, what? Oh no, this isn't D&D. Why are they calling this D&D? And I never,
I mean, I think for me, the saving grace for 5th edition is at least at low levels, it was an attempt to bring things back.
Yeah.
But it falls apart at higher levels. Well, it falls apart at level 6 or 7 for me. But levels 1 to 5, it's okay. It just flies through those levels too quickly. For 3.5 and 4th just took it in a direction I don't want to know. But no, I am glad this book finished on this piece of artwork, because this quite simply is utterly magnificent.
It is. It's a great piece.
It might have even overtaken Trampier's Treasure as being my number 1 piece of fantasy art, because it's everything I want to see in fantasy artwork.
And on that note, I think we're going to call it. And thank you, everyone who dropped by. Thank you, everyone who watched. This has been the Grumpy Old Slan, along with the Old Geek, going over Frank Frazetta's. Let's see if I can get to the cover here. Fantastic Art of Frank Frazetta.
Yeah.
Book 1.
And that was a great cover. It was a great cover, wasn't it?
Yeah. And we'll see you all next time, hopefully.
Cheers, Slan.
Cheers.